Everybody, Josh, and it's Jilly, and it's Big Luth, and we're just hanging out today, having a good time with you beautiful people, you gorgeous people here at 5 o'clock Central Time. Jilly, how are you today?
I'm good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I feel like my camera's really behind. Well,
that's all behind. That,
okay.
That screen you were watching
was like,
sorry.
That's
that was
really.
There
really
we are live.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot to pause the Twitch view and put it on OBS. But anyway, we welcome everybody into the show today. Glad you are with us. Are we going to get back to drinking on Saturdays or not? Are we doing a drunk show on Saturday?
Well, I don't know. You wanted to watch Trump, so.
Well, we could do it after Trump. Well, when you say you want to watch Trump, then it makes it sound like I got to see what my man has to say.
That is like, you like the Trump show.
I do. I really enjoy it. I'm a big supporter of watching Trump talk. What I love is somehow I'm being kind of lumped into a world of MAGA, and I don't give a damn if people are MAGA or not. I don't care about that kind of stuff. But it's funny because now I get lumped into it. So people will tweet me and say, you're just MAGA and you're this. I'm like, dude, again, even let's say I've never voted. So my opinion, big picture, actually means nothing in this.
Kanye West has never voted, and he's running for president.
That's true. We'll talk about that in a second as well. We'll get into a bunch of stuff today. But first, Dr. Busby at ToeGrips.com. That's right, ToeGrips.com. For our friend Dr. Busby. Of course, the toe grips are great because it helps the dogs walk around on hardwood floors, even if they're,
a little nervous,
sliding around, a little nervous on the hardwood floors and all that. And the toe grips are great for that. And we've had listeners of the show purchase the toe grips, and that's wonderful. But Luther uses the Dr. Busby's Encore Mobility, which is a supplement that helps your dogs, who are struggling maybe with joint issues, right? Like hip and joint issues. This promotes hip and joint flexibility, restores mobility and comfort, and renews vigor and vitality for your pup. And I would urge you to pick this up if your pup might be struggling with any of that, right? I would urge you to do that. So go ahead and go to ToeGrips.com. That's ToeGrips.com. And you can purchase the Dr. Busby's Encore Mobility. It is a green-lipped mussel and New Zealand deer velvet, which is a novel ingredient not found in the big-name joint supplements in the USA. And Dr. Busby gives this to her patients, and Luther uses Dr. Busby's Encore Mobility, and it's great. Spectacular. We love Dr. Busby. Check out her website. Check out her blog. Check out the your do-it-yourself dog nail trimming master course that you can get as well. And go to the website, ToeGrips.com. That's ToeGrips.com. You'll get a 10% discount if you use the code Luther. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Great customer service, wonderful people, 10% off site-wide using the promo code Luther, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. It is ToeGrips.com. ToeGrips.com is the website. Guys, it's Luther approved.
And he's picky.
Let me tell you something. It's Luther approved. I take it every morning. I can tell you, it's really changing my life. I get around a little bit better, and I love it. It's great. And I just want everybody to know that. I hope you guys know that it's Luther approved, and I take it. And, I'm getting a little older, so sometimes I don't get around as good, but I take this, and then boom, vroom, 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 I'm going, and it's great. I just hope everybody knows that. It's ToeGrips.com. Dr. Busby, ToeGrips.com. Well, glad you guys are in today. We had a lively, spirited show on the radio side of things today. Billy D. Washington called, and we had a 25-minute nonstop conversation about race, which was fine. I didn't mind. I like Billy D., and we've been buddies for a while, so that doesn't bother me.
Your hair is really,
I know.
Really
I washed it today.
Out of control.
And I didn't put anything in it. So I washed it, and then I didn't put anything in it. Remember when me and Seth had our little dust up at Radio Row? My hair was all kind of curly and wild, and he started ripping me, and one of the things he ripped me for was my hair, and he's like, well, what do you put in your hair? And I go, actually, it's nothing. My hair just does this. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, what a weird dig. But no, my hair just does really weird shit. It's very curly.
Puffy.
It's puffy and curly. I didn't put anything in it today. That's why. Josh, you did excellent today. Stood your ground. Were fair, intelligent, and did a great job today, man. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Again, we're just at this point, and listen, I like Nick. Nick's a good dude on the show, and I like Nick. I have no clue what Nick was talking about today. At one point when he starts arguing with me about my opinion on LeBron versus my opinion of NFL players, like, it was so bizarre. And it was kind of like a circular argument, and I have no clear idea of what he meant on the air, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him after because I was talking with the guys after the show was over, and then he was already gone. But I have no clue what it was. If anybody was listening to the show, maybe I can find it here and play some of it. But the gist was, I started the show today talking about how the fact that no NFL players, now I think one guy has stepped up, but no current NFL players have stepped up to condemn Deshaun Jackson when they destroyed Drew Brees and wanted Drew Brees kicked out of the league, and Drew Brees should be, because he just doesn't get it, and they cried and everything. My viewpoint was and is that these players do not care about equality. They care about their own movement, which is fine. That's how most of us are. Most of us care about our own lives, care about our own families, care about our dogs, care about our parents, and really don't give a damn what happens to other people, generally speaking. We don't want them to die. We don't root for them to die. But big picture, we don't really give a damn about what's going on in other people's lives. So I would prefer that the players just be honest. And when they say taking a knee, and don't use broad terms like equality, just say we want power or we want unity in the black community, whatever, but don't lie. And you're full of shit now because we're seeing that a guy has posted anti-Semitic stuff, and whether he did it on purpose or not, you can debate, but he did. And if that were a white guy doing something towards black people, you would want that guy kicked out of the league. You would want him gone. And that's pretty safe to say. So that was my initial point. I said, I don't believe that NFL players really care about overall equality. That was my viewpoint. Fast forward to later in the show, I'm talking about LeBron and how I think LeBron posts dangerous rhetoric on Twitter, like they're all out to get us or we're being hunted. And it ends up becoming like Nick jumps in and starts arguing about how, well, I'm speaking in generalities. And it didn't make any sense. I said, I offered my opinion. Well, why can you speak in generalities, but LeBron can't? And I'm like, I had no idea where the conversation was going. I have no idea what it was about. I tried to follow the conversation. I couldn't. Because Nick's like, well, whenever I make, I say baseball players are all cheaters. I don't really mean that all baseball players are cheaters. I'm like, then why did you say all baseball players were cheaters? Like, I don't understand what the point of the whole thing was. I don't know if anybody heard it or heard it. But like, all I said, I offered an opinion. And the opinion was, again, that I don't believe, according to me, my viewpoint, I don't believe that NFL players really care about overall equality. They care more about power. LeBron, on the other hand, and I don't think that's dangerous. That's my opinion. I don't think that's a dangerous rhetoric. Dangerous rhetoric is someone saying that cops are out hunting black people. That's a stupid viewpoint, and it's a dangerous viewpoint with the platform that guy has. So I just had no idea what Nick was talking about, but maybe I'll play it for you later, and you guys can help me understand. I have no issue with Nick. Nick's a wonderful guy. And I'm talking about Nick, the producer of the show on 97.5. I think he's a wonderful guy. I just have no clue what he meant by any of that. But anyway, let me see. Joe sent me something today. And you know what? It seems like it might be interesting because I think it is it's not a town hall meeting, but it's in Huntington Beach. And I haven't watched it. But Joe says you got to play this today. What is this? Joe, this isn't a town hall. What is it? This is a city council meeting, maybe? Let me see if this is any good. It is just titled Huntington Beach, the Tom Cruise Space Station is what this is titled. So let's see what this person has to offer. Some basically surfer.
Next speaker, please.
Sorry for the delay. I did legs yesterday. But what up?
Okay, so just let me go back.
So
let me describe what this guy
Go
looks
ahead.
like
Next
to
speaker,
you,
please.
so you can kind of get a visual of this. So it's this bro in a pink kind of party shirt,
Okay.
with long kind of blonde, hair, like kind of frosted hair, and he's wearing a mask, but he pulls the mask down to talk. But he's like a surfer bro, and let's see what he has to say in Huntington Beach.
Sorry for the delay. I did legs yesterday. But what up, council? My name is Chad Kroger.
Well, we're already off to a good start. His name is Chad Kroger. So this is clearly
Has
a
this
work.
guy done this before? I feel
Has
like
he?
we've heard someone say, "My name is Chad Kroger," in a bro
Have
shirt in
we?
a city hall. I mean, maybe not. Maybe this is what he does.
Well, this is from July 2nd.
Yeah, but I'm
So-
saying, like, I feel like when we were playing the Portillo's lady, like, years ago, there was another guy that said, "My name is Chad Kroger," and he looked like a bro. So maybe
might
this is
have.
like the bit.
Maybe it's his bit, but I don't know. I like it, so let's
Yeah.
see.
Activist and Stoke Lord. I come to you in the gnarliest of times. I don't know if you looked outside, but it's pretty nuts. There's something called a pandemic going on. When the Q-teen first happened, I managed to stay stoked. I didn't have to work, and the president gave me 1,200 bones. But then it started to kind of suck. The beach is closed. My buddy Dolan's GF broke up with him over his Call of Duty addiction. And J. Crew went bankrupt.
Okay, even if it's clearly a work, okay?
It's funny though that he's
It's a
doing
brilliant, but I enjoy it. If it's good material and it's good, I like it.
Deleterious to my tan, my bros love life, and my summer shirt collection. Honestly, I was ready to let Rona sadness take over my body, but then something incredible happened. They announced Tom Cruise was making his next movie in space. In a time when most bros are trapped indoors, Tom Cruise is going into the ionosphere. He's still crushing it 24/7 and observing the ultimate form of social distancing. He's such a beast. And yeah, he's made us realize that there's nothing the C virus or anything else can do to stop human beings from persevering to the greatest of heights and accomplishments. So that's why we need to honor this maverick. And how do we do that? We do it by renaming the International Space Station the Tom Cruise Space Station. Imagine Tom Cruise, Council, floating through space. And what does he see? Tom freaking Cruise on the side of the freaking craft. That'll inspire him to do a better performance, which will lead to a better film, which will lead to a happier planet. So, yeah, I'm stoked. And
I dig this guy.
Well, he's got a whole
it's
thing.
easy.
I was
All it
right. We
takes
have played him before.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying I like it.
Yeah. He's
I
been
like
on-
the work here. I enjoy it.
It's just funny. I was like, why does it sound so familiar to me? Yeah, he's been doing this for a while. He's got a show.
I thoroughly enjoy it, but I enjoy people that to just kind of just expose these dumb things.
And he's been on
pocket some
Ellen.
paint. So, thank you, Council, and yeah, all right, later.
Thank you for your comments. Go ahead. Next speaker, please.
Oh, it's another one.
What up, Council? My name is JT Parr. Chad just hit the nail right on the head and fired me up. He's getting a huge round of applause outside. That's getting me fired up. My dog really crushed that. And I think his point that it's important that we name things after people we admire. I think we've learned that recently. And Tom Cruise is someone that we can all admire. Let me be vulnerable for a sec. This pandemic has scared me. And Chad says that's okay. But growing up, I didn't get scared of stuff like this. I was only afraid of report cards and intimacy. But in general, I would just stare death in the face, like rip on a dirt bike or roll down a hill with my body limp or moon traffic. And it always fired people up. But as I've aged, I noticed that I don't push it as hard. I worry I've lost my edge. One person who sharpens my edge, though, is Tom Cruise. When I watch his behind the scenes for Mission Impossible, I suddenly forget what fear is, and I take charge and hustle to a busy intersection and moon people. I feel whole again. This may sound frivolous, but there is power in letting it rip, Council. In these times more than ever, we need someone to fill our hearts with courage. A symbol that says, even if we're stuck inside, a determined human can still go farther than any other actor would dare.
Here's what I don't like about him.
Okay.
You're reading it off the paper.
Well, but maybe they came in with. It's possible that someone came in with a
I don't
prepared
like
thing.
it. I don't like it as much.
Okay, well, you don't like it then.
I mean, the bit's funny. But I feel like if you're going to do it, you're trying to convince people that you're actually just a wacko at a city council meeting, right?
Yes.
Well, they're clearly not.
Well, let me see if they've got any better stuff. This one's from a year ago, and it's Britney Spears Toxic Water Center. Let's see if this one's any better. Hold on, we got a commercial here. I enjoy it. I can appreciate some scripted material
See, I
here.
think I have no problem with scripted material. I think my bar is set so high for city council because there are so many just genuine, like, messed up, wacko people
Yeah.
that make me laugh more
Yep.
than someone doing it scripted in a city council meeting.
Ah,
Now, I'm not
okay.
saying these guys aren't funny.
Okay.
Their material is funny.
Okay. Well, let's see what Britney Spears' Toxic Water Center is.
What up, Council? My name is Chad Kroger. First off, I love your city of Manhattan Beach. You have great bros. Council, what does it mean to be American? I used to think it meant eating fudgesicles and being tan. And in a lot of ways, I still do. But I think it also means fighting for the ones you love, which is why I'm here to fight for my first and greatest love, Britney Spears. She's going through pretty serious ennui right now, but she's helped me through major bummer. She pretty much guided me through puberty. She's so hot. I almost
find
went to
this
one of
guy
her
funny.
concerts when I was 14, but my dad said no. You have to do math. Also, it's probably good that I didn't go because I didn't want to destroy what she and Justin Timberlake had. Whether she was stronger in the song Stronger, vulnerable and lucky, or risque and womanizer.
Sir, I don't know what bet you lost, but this is not within the jurisdiction matter of the city of Manhattan Beach.
I promise it is. It's just at the
You
end.
need to get to it now.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
See, that's funny.
Basically, I'm trying to get her stoked again. So that's why I'm asking the city of Manhattan Beach to rename the water treatment center the Britney Spears Toxic Water Center after her hit song Toxic. I think that would be a really nice way to pay homage to her. Thank you.
And that's their thing is like get stoked or whatever, like stoke whatever, like
Yeah.
Stoke Nation is
What
their
up,
thing.
Council? I'm also deeply honored to be here. Chad asked me to sing the song Toxic to you because he figured some people might not know it or it might have slipped your memory. Baby, can't you see?
That's funny.
I'm calling. A guy like you should wear a warning. It's dangerous. I'm falling. There's no escape. I can't wait. I need a hit. Baby, give me it. You're dangerous. I'm loving it. Too high. Can't come down. Losing my head. Spinning round and round. Do you feel me now? Oh, the taste of your lips, I'm on a ride.
You're very
You're
tickled.
toxic, I'm slipping under with the taste of a poison paradise. I'm addicted to you. Don't you know that you're toxic? Stay strong, Brittany. Thank you guys so much.
And thank you.
See,
So
that's
it's the
funny.
the Going Deep podcast,
Oh, that's
chadgoesdeep.com.
That's funny.
If you want more. Chad Goes Deep and JT Park give advice to bros everywhere.
Oh, see, I thought that was funny.
Well, so did
And in
Ellen,
fact-
because they made it on the Ellen show. Like, she actually didn't just play the clip. She had them as guests on the show.
Now that's great. See, I enjoy that, right? I enjoy that the guy left the pauses in there in the song and everything. I thought it was great. Now I've Googled city council meeting gone bad. That one turns violent. I don't know if I want a violent one. I want something funny. Let's see. This says city council meeting fart. This one says city council meeting funny.
I mean, just a couple weeks ago, they had all the ones with the wackos with the masks. Those were really good.
This is from 5 years ago. This one just says, that's Chad Goes Deep. Most of this shit is just Chad Goes Deep at these things. Fighting for your right to party in Delaware. Citizens hilarious rant. You know what? Did we play the one in Philly? Like they had a city council meeting a couple months ago that we watched in Philly.
Oh,
where
yeah,
it was
that
just
was
a bunch of
good.
McDougal's that were angry about something.
They were angry about the safe injection site,
Ah, yeah. Let me see.
which seems so long ago
it
now.
does. Oh, God. Now I got to find that. Hold on.
That wasn't on YouTube, though. That was a Facebook
Oh,
Live.
Okay, damn it. Maybe someone posted it on there. I don't know. Let's see. Citizens hilarious rant at Bloomington, Illinois. This is 5 years ago. Let's see what this is.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to announce the next speaker again? I'm not sure that they're in line. Oh, you are. Okay.
That is, I'm sorry. And then after that is Chris Grammer.
Hi, my name is Aaron Leneve, and I think that this whole thing is the most ridiculous thing I've ever had mess up my news feed. First off, this is the United States of America. We have a First Amendment constitutional right to say what we want. That includes you. You were elected to talk trash to the crazy cat lady. It's the truth. I'm so sick of the way this town gets run. It's disgusting. The police are usually out of control. Nobody says that. It gets whitewashed with this crazy, like, oh, you can't say it like that. You got to watch your P's and Q's. No, it's the United States of America, and you can say what you want.
I'm sure this guy's even angrier today.
What
Yes.
don't you get? What
This
don't
5
you
years ago, so
Yep.
curmudgeons don't get
you curmudgeons.
about that? It's the fundamentals of how this country was founded. It was founded on crazy people saying crazy things to each other. Personally, I think you should have taken a key from George Carlin or Eddie Murphy. But, hey, you know, it's boring, whatever. The news in this town, I make a comment about the news. The Pantograph is the most slanted crap I ever heard. Somebody started a page the other day called the Slantograph. The flamingo flockers, man, to tell you the truth about the flamingo thing, I would have gotten penguins or expanded the
All right,
buggy.
well, I've had enough of this guy. Don't enjoy that one as much.
That one lady's still the best ever.
Does that make any sense to you?
You can't top her. She set the bar so high for city council meetings.
I don't know if that where that exists anymore. Oh, the city council. Hold on. Now I got to find the damn thing.
It was a zoning thing in Arizona,
Yeah,
I
it
think.
was, city council. Does that make any sense? Let's see. Houston City Council. No, damn it. I'm not going to be able to find this damn woman. All right, well, if someone email it to me if you find it. But anyway, before we get into anything else today, I might as well tell you about some of the people that helped
All
make-
you have to do is Google Portillo's Ladies City Council meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
It's pretty simple.
Well, I looked up the city. Okay. I didn't know. I forgot you talked about Portillo's
I
lady.
said it 4 times.
All right. Portillo's city council meeting, lady. Okay, here we go. Zoning meeting for Portillo's in Davenport, Iowa.
Iowa, that's it.
Well, that may be why, because I looked up Arizona. All right, now hold on. Then let me kill the music here.
She's
for a
the
second.
classic.
Yeah,
She's
okay.
the
Okay,
the
now
standard.
I will get it. Okay, we will do this one. This says amazing zoning meeting for Portillo's today. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Lisa Ann Whitmer Wagman. I just moved here because I'm getting a divorce, and it's not final till September 18th. My husband will not give me any money, not one penny. The lawyer won't help me. My husband won't help me. My dad, Marlon Lee Whitmer, he's a minister, won't help me. My stepmother won't help me. My mother passed away 7 years ago. And my dad and Annie Hockhausen, they wrote at Vera French that they both are my parents. Annie is my stepmom. I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. My lawyer is Justin Title. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I'm moving down to Texas soon to help the children in Texas. I'm a very loving parent, very, very, very loving parent. I have a 20-year-old daughter. She's going to college at St. Ambrose this fall. She's in Muscatine College right now.
It's important to note that, again, this is just a city council meting.
Yep.
For
About zoning.
a zoning meeting for a Portillo's in Davenport. Portillo's is a restaurant, like a Chicago-based, like what do you call it, an Italian beef restaurant.
Hot dogs, yeah.
It's Brianna Elizabeth. And she is not helping me because she's 20. She's scared. She doesn't want her parents to separate or divorce.
Ma'am, we're discussing the rezoning for the Portillos. Do you have any comments on that?
For what?
We're discussing the rezoning on 53rd for,
Well, I live on 63rd.
again, we're here to hear comments about the rezoning.
Well, I don't like Facebook. And I don't like the internet because I can't find a job. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
Ma'am, we're not here to discuss your personal life. I'm sorry. Do you have any comments about the rezoning?
No, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
That's the best. Nope.
Discussing the rezoning on 53rd for,
Well, I live on 63rd.
again, we're here to hear comments about the rezoning.
Well, I don't like Facebook. And I don't like the internet because I can't find a job.
Oh, God.
The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
Ma'am, we're not here to discuss your personal life. I'm sorry. Do you have any comments about the rezoning?
No, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And then just rolls out like that. I think this is why I don't find other city council like videos that funny, because nothing can top this woman. Nothing can ever top her for me.
The end of it is so good. Like, man, this is about the rezoning.
I don't like
Now
Facebook.
tell me, does that make any sense to you?
Ma'am, we're not here to discuss your personal life. I'm sorry. Do you have any comments about the rezoning?
No, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. Next.
I can't do city council that aren't this woman.
Oh, shit.
I can't.
It's just so good. I just love the. Do you have any thoughts? No.
Does that make any sense to you?
Ma'am, we're not here to discuss your personal life. I'm sorry. Do you have any comments about the rezoning?
No, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And the other part that's good, there's I don't know why I'm here.
I don't know what. That's where they should have stopped her and been like, listen, okay, maybe it's time to pump the brakes.
Oh,
Should have given us the whole family
my name
breakdown.
is Lisa Ann Whitmer Wagman. I just moved here because I'm getting a divorce, and it's not final till September 18th.
I think we have a good idea of why this guy's divorcing her, though.
My husband will not give me any money, not one penny.
Wonder who he left her for. You know, you wonder, like, he's divorced. He probably has a side
Maybe
chick.
just to get out.
That might be, too. He left because the other option was suicide, a murder-suicide.
The lawyer won't help me. My husband won't help me. My dad, Marlon Lee Whitmer, he's a minister, won't help me.
What a dick this dad of hers
Total.
is. Help her out.
My stepmother won't help me. My mother passed away 7 years ago.
What you don't know is she killed herself while listening to her try to recite her entire legal name.
And my dad and Annie Hockhausen, they wrote at Vera French that they both are my parents. Annie is my stepmom.
Fucking Annie Hockhausen.
She seems like a real bitch.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. My lawyer is Justin Title. I don't know if you've
And this chick has a lawyer for something. So,
Yeah, for the
Heard of it.
divorce.
yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, this lawyer must be really hard up.
I'm moving down to Texas.
It's the pauses where you're like, I guess she's over, and she's like, well, page 2, I'm moving down to Texas. God, she's so good. She's my favorite.
I can't find a job. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
Ma'am, we're not here to discuss your personal life. I'm sorry. Do you have any comments about the rezoning?
No, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
She's like, well, I'm out now. I'm done now, fellas. Sorry, I got to get out, guys. You're right. I have nothing to offer here. Oh, that's spectacular. I mean, just beautiful. Anyway, before we get into anything else today, someone posting here. Now, that's the good old-fashioned Josh Innes show fun we're used to.
Yep. That's the fun.
Well, tell the world to start being more fun, and we'll be able to be more fun. I'm now dull out of necessity, didn't you know? All right, who do I have to tell them about?
Concrete chemistry.
Concrete chemistry. Well, let me tell you about concrete chemistry now. They're in the business. They are chemists of concrete. That's what they are now. Well, what they do is they design and install resinous and polished concrete floor systems for commercial, industrial, and institutional applications. And in response to the Rona, they're offering virtual job site walks and virtual project estimates via Google Duo, so you can schedule your appointment if you need it. Okay? You can do that. Their website is concretechemistry.com, and they make some real purty-looking floors. Let me see if I can find you one of these floors to look at. Nope, that's just Nation shirts. There we go. Look at those floors on there. That is a thing of beauty, ain't it? Look at those. Retail, industrial, commercial. I know that our buddy Eric explained all this to us that one Saturday night that we were hammered. I still don't fully understand all of it, but they do a damn good job with it. So
It's not for you to understand, it's for you to look at.
Yes. So, Concrete Chemistry. The phone number is 713-497-4701, and they can do work for you in both Houston and Philly. And Eric Daly is the president. He's awesome. 713-497-4701. That's 713-497-4701. And that is our friends at Concrete Chemistry. All right, who's next, Jilly?
MacKnight Safety Solutions.
Well, you know what MacKnight Safety Solutions, you know what they're in the business of.
Safety.
Safety. You bet your ass they're in the business of safety, Jilly, and they're keeping people safe on the work sites, right? So let's say you run you're a construction worker, whatever the hell you are. You're a foreman on a construction site. I don't know. Again, I need to talk to the guys over at MacKnight Safety Solutions to kind of full on, understand.
Well, we're supposed to all have beers, but
But the Rona. Yes. But we need to hook up so I can find out more about what they do at MacKnight Safety Solutions. I mean, I understand what they do. I need more details on it. I need to be taught more about it. But they're a safety staffing and consulting company located in Rosenberg here in the Houston area, and they work nationwide in international projects. When companies have a temporary need for safety oversight on projects, they use the folks at MacKnight Safety Solutions versus hiring their own people. They work in industrial and commercial construction, oil field and manufacturing facilities, and they also conduct facility audits for regulatory compliance and assist their clients with developing and maintaining comprehensive safety programs. What does that mean? Well, this aids them in obtaining work and reduces costs associated with workers' comp insurance and reduces employee risk and possible fines associated with noncompliance. That's self-explanatory. How about that? Get you a taste of them vittles. So you can check them out on Facebook. You can go to their website, MacKnightSafety.com. The number is 832-363-1295, 832-363-1295. That is MacKnight Safety Solutions. And now you know the rest of the story, do you not?
We actually just got a text from Bobo.
Bobo said, we haven't talked to Bobo in a while. What's he been up to?
Well, they've been in Austin. They drove to see their nephews.
Oh, yeah.
He texted you, too, so you can send him a text back as well. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you.
Okay.
But they've made it back to Illinois. They didn't get stopped driving back from Texas.
That's good.
Yep.
That's
so maybe
good.
we'll have to check in with Bobo if we do a Saturday night show, see how they're... I feel like Bobo would have thoughts on this quarantine part 2.
I think he would. I think Bobo would have a lot of thoughts. So maybe Saturday, if we decide to go on Saturday, we'll get nuts with Bobo. How about that?
He also thanked you for the T-shirts.
Oh, they got their tea. Well, we got to get to I think everybody wants is they want to see Allie in one of the T-shirts.
Yep.
Can you tell Allie to take a picture and send it to us, and we'll put it up here on Twitch at some point?
I will.
Because I think I think I speak for everyone when I say that people want to see Allie in her Just Nation T-shirt.
Might help us sell more.
I think so. And we've sold a good number of them already, over 100. So we've done pretty well there.
Maybe she'll come on Saturday. We can get her in her Just Nation shirt. I think that's what we need.
Gama is in the chat right now. Gama, you going to pay your bill or what? Did Gama pay already?
No.
No, Gama, what are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? I know we're supposed to go drink beer and all, but where you been? Let's see. Looking at some of the other comments. Let's see. Does Deshaun Jackson know that Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam are responsible for the death of Malcolm X, asks Old Greatness. My guess is that Deshaun Jackson knows absolutely nothing about Louis Farrakhan or Jewish people. Either one. I doubt that the guy knows much about Hitler other than Hitler's a bad guy. I think a lot of these guys are just idiots, uneducated idiots. And it's not just football players. It's a lot of people across the country. Education is lacking. We're dealing with just complete buffoons, and people get their information and get their education from Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. Most people are just brain dead. Josh, do you hate Mahomes' contract? Why would I hate Mahomes' contract? I don't give a shit what kind of money the guy gets. It doesn't impact me at all. Let's see. The Billy D segment was fire. Well, thanks, Gum. It was good. And I texted him after and said, good stuff. I have no issue with some nice discourse on the show. That's good. I'm all about that. But the point being in all of this is we've got people who are just not very educated. That's been my biggest point in all of this, is we need to get more people educated on a lot of things. And it's not so much like racial issues or whatever. It's just like, to me, that's not a racial issue when you're talking about knowing who Hitler is. Right? Like, that's something you should learn in school, and you should have a pretty good idea that it's bad. And then here's what I've been getting. Like, a guy called up today and basically was saying, well, slavery was worse than what happened to the Jews. They're both abhorrent. They're both terrible.
Yeah, they are.
Whether it's slavery or whether it was the Holocaust, they're both terrible. It's like, we don't need to swing our dicks around and be like, well, yeah, but slavery was worse. No, first of all, the Holocaust was fucking vile. Not that slavery wasn't, but we're talking millions upon millions of people who died in the Holocaust. But the idea that it's like, well, I mean, what was really a bigger deal? No, don't
it's
compare
not
both.
really a
There's
which
not a
is
fight.
Yeah, it's not a which is worse scenario here.
Oh, God. I mean, like, get over. I mean, like, there's so many of these people that, like, everything's got to be a competition. This is one of the things we talked about. And I tried to explain this to Billy, but I didn't articulate myself as well as I should, right? So what we're dealing, like, as a white guy, right? Like, big picture, I truly believe that Deshaun Jackson is just ignorant. I don't believe he's an anti-Semite because I don't think he knows what anti-Semitism is. I truly don't. I think he's an idiot. He's a dude that's played football his whole life. He's never really had to know anything his whole life. He's never had to know what anti-Semitism is. So I don't believe he is. Now, I believe he's been exposed to anti-Semitism because that exists in rap music, and you hear it a lot of places, anti-Jewish sentiment. I truly don't think he knows what that is. So if you think I'm defending him, whatever, I'm not. But I don't think he knows these things,
I don't
right?
think he had, like, hatred.
There was no
Yeah.
I don't believe there was a premeditation in this where he's like, well, I'm going to go prop up Hitler.
Watch
and maybe I'm
this.
giving him too much of a benefit of the doubt. But I also gave the benefit of the doubt to Drew Brees, who I don't think is racist either. And I compare the two because of this. And this is what I think happens with our cultures, right? So what we get is, and it happened in the conversation with Billy D. Washington today as well, is it's possible for two people to be wrong. It's also possible that, say, Deshaun Jackson has no idea what he's talking about. He's clearly a buffoon. But what happens is, as a white guy now, I sat back and watched Drew Brees get raked over the coals, and I saw Drew Brees get nearly canceled, and I saw Drew Brees called a racist by his teammates, and I saw Shannon Sharp say the guy should quit football because he's a bigot and he's not helpable at all, like he's just broken and he can't be fixed. All this over saying that he doesn't agree with taking a knee, and he doesn't respect taking a knee during the national anthem. He doesn't respect that. So what happens is I get my dander up and I get my back all hunched up and I go, no, wait a minute, assholes. If you're going to sit here and say that Drew Brees needs to be destroyed because Drew Brees said something that you found to be ignorant, right? Then you can't look at Deshaun Watson and claim he's ignorant but not be outraged by it. Or when I say Watson, Deshaun Jackson, you can't sit there and not be outraged by that. You must be outraged as well. And I think we're all looking for an eye for an eye. We talked about that with Billy today because I said that the media does a terrible job of reporting on things because the media will only focus on, when a white guy kills a black guy, white cop kills black guy, right? Like, that's the story. He asked me today, well, why don't we ever hear about white people killing white cops killing white? Because honestly, white people don't give a shit about that. That's like, we just kind of sit back and go, oh, a white guy got killed. We don't know. And because the news doesn't cover it. So I couldn't tell you every day what white guys are getting plugged by cops because the news doesn't care and it doesn't grow legs. It grows legs when it's a white cop that kills a black guy and it gets hammered home. So what happens then, I bring that up. Well, then Billy D goes and says, well, oh, trust me, if it were some little white girl that got killed by the cops, it'd be a big deal. What about like Natalie Holloway? First of all, Natalie Holloway was like 7, 8 years ago. number one. Number two, that's more of a Nancy Grace driven thing, right? Like it's like, but my point in this is everybody looks for the eye for an eye. So they go, oh, well, you think that your group is the only one that gets the exposure? Well, what about our group? Like, okay.
I like the Marquise Goodwin rebuttal today. I guess he had commented on one of D-Jack's posts yesterday.
Yep.
That said, I wish people commented this much on a BLM topic. Which I feel like people comment a lot on BLM topics.
A ton of
it is it is a hot topic here, Marquise Goodwin. So he posts, how did I become an anti-Semitic overnight? The Jewish community is lashing out at me on multiple pages. For what reason exactly? I'm high-key confused. Then he goes into a comment. Imagine if Drew Brees had wrote, how did I become a racist overnight? The black community is lashing out at me on multiple pages. For what reason exactly? I'm high-key confused. Imagine if that same explanation of why are you attacking me was used by Drew.
I'm not racist, right? I don't believe I'm racist, and I have black friends, whatever, okay? You can say that those are crutches, but I do. I mean, Tank texted me at like 5 this morning for some reason. He never texts me. I was worried when I woke up at 9:30 and I see a text from Tank at, 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. I guess it would have been 7 o'clock over there, 6 o'clock here. But I don't consider myself to be a bigot. But the second I use a term on the radio in Philly, automatically 70% of the people are going to think I'm racist just based on that. So I understand him and I feel bad for him in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's another part of me that says, well, fuck you. I had to deal with all the bullshit for it. So you deal with the bullshit for your stupidity. Because multiple times, I'm not a racist. I'm a decent human being. I treat people fair and equally. But multiple times I've seen myself on the chopping block and people who know nothing about me will call me racist. So I understand where he's coming from and I empathize.
But
I also go like, screw you, bro.
I was more so comparing it to the Drew Brees situation, so that's what we were kind of doing, like the double standards here. Because if Drew would have posted the same thing of instead of how did I become an anti-Semitic overnight, the Jewish community is lashing out, and he would have wrote something like how did I become a racist overnight, the black community is lashing out.
Yep.
That would have made it 20 times worse.
Correct. And that's where, again, there is certainly a double standard in this. And to his point, like, I agree. It's not right that this guy has become a bigot overnight or an anti-Semite overnight.
The big problem
but Drew
overall.
Brees, a good person who seemingly has never done anything to anybody in a racial sense, it didn't stop people from destroying him. And that kind of comes back to the eye for an eye. Is when you've got people who claim to speak for an entire race, and that happens a lot with black people. Like one or two people will then say, like, I'm black and I'm offended, whatever. Whenever Drew Brees does that and people want him canceled, fired, suspended, they want him to lose money, they think all this, then you can't be shocked when a large group of people from the other side will attack someone who does something stupid on the other side. It is an eye for an eye thing.
I think the equality that we're looking for here isn't even equality. It's just like both sides need to be like, social media, calm down.
Correct. Like, listen,
both sides need to be like, the mob coming for us on social media is out of control.
Correct.
And it has to stop.
Well, the other problem is like I see Mills Lane says words and Instagram pics hurt. I see, but in both cases, I think neither one of these were huge deals, right?
I don't think they were ill-intentioned.
No, I don't think. I don't believe that Deshaun Jackson is an anti-Semite because I don't think he knows what anti-Semites are. And I think this way because, dude, there used to be people that would call in Philly and they would argue with me and say I was an anti-Semite. They were black people telling me that I was racist towards black people, and they were saying I was anti-Semitic. So many people don't even know what that means, right? So I don't believe he's one of them.
Well, Drake...
At some point, you should get the fuck over yourselves and be like, all right, Drew Brees said something I disagree with. I'm going to carry on living my goddamn life. And same with Deshaun Jackson. He said something that is offensive or tweeted something that's offensive, but I'm going to go on living my life. But because we live in this era where it's got to be black versus white and everything's got to be a fight and everybody's got to try to cancel everybody, it always comes to this sort of head where it's a white versus black battle, when in reality, people should just get the hell over themselves at some point and say it's words, get over it, and let's move on with life and stop trying to cancel people.
I mean, Drake is Jewish. Deshaun Jackson seems to like him.
Oh.
So how could it be anti-Semitic?
Well, yes. I guess so. But again, it's at some point, we got it. Like, words mean very little. Things on Twitter mean very little. It's not the real world. We talk about it all the time. It's not real. You know? Like, it's like what we see on social media isn't. And and I tell you, and I do believe this, though. If your game is going to be being outraged by everything and say that you want to unify and you want people to be together and blah, 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 right? then I need you whenever where something happens that can offend Jewish people. I want all those same players who are fighting for unity and crying on the internet. I would like them to step up, and I would like them to say, we do not tolerate any sort of bigotry. How about that? Do that. Like, my guess is that Deshaun Jackson's, the extent of his anti-Semite knowledge, or the extent of his knowledge on Jewish people, probably comes from no Vaseline. Like, that would be the extent of his knowledge on this. Let's see here. Let's read some of these. Bobby Boucher's mom said social media is the devil. I think she did say that.
She's not wrong.
Let's see. Jewish are the original social justice warriors. But, again, Jewish folks, and there's another part of an argument I hate. Like, at one point today, Billy D went back to like, well, this has been going on since the 1700s. Well, you can't liken everything to and discuss everything that happened in the 1800s. Let's talk about what's happening now. You know what I'm saying? I think I have issue with that. Ice Cube keeps having anti-Semitic faux pas. He just did again last month.
Oh, yeah. He's been tweeting stuff like that, like, for the past month.
And again, that's
bizarre.
But again, I think what happens is, and this goes back to lack of education. I think you got a lot of young dudes who don't learn in school, who learn from celebrities, which I think is a big mistake. Like, I don't know why we should be looking to celebrities or athletes for guidance on anything, as we've learned more and more about these guys on social media. They're mostly just idiots, right? Celebrities, they just say what the fashionable thing to say is. But we're sitting here, we're expecting people to learn from these kids and these celebrities. So basically, you hear a bunch of people telling you that Jews are bad, so I guess that's just what you think. Dude, real talk, growing up, our house wasn't overly religious. My dad's kind of a fake religious. Growing up, I had no idea, like, the difference. And this is actually, I think, a positive thing. I had no idea the difference between Jews and Catholics and Protestants. I didn't know any of that. I just knew people, right? Like, you learn about it over time. But, like, growing up, it was never one of those things where our house was like, who's terrible Jews, by the way. Like, I never knew that. Like, that was something I never grew up knowing. I never, because I'm not a religious person, right? And growing up, we never went to church or anything, right? My dad's kind of like a newfound holy roller on Facebook only. He's like a Facebook exclusive holy roller. Never talking about God or anything in the house. It's just always on Facebook because he is a fraud.
When do you think the last time he went to church was?
I couldn't tell you. Dad didn't go to church. I think Mom and Emily went to church when they lived in Arkansas, but I think that's because there was nothing else to do. They lived in a town of 100 people, so like everybody went to church. So when I looked, like, growing up, I couldn't have told you the difference between Jews and Catholics and Protestants and Baptists. I couldn't tell you the difference in any of that shit because it didn't concern me in my life. I never thought about those things, So, but to put a bow on that, I don't believe Deshaun Jackson's a bad guy. I don't think Deshaun Jackson should be canceled. But what has to be understood, until everybody stops wanting to point the finger and cancel people, you're going to continue to have rebuttals, and you're going to have people that are trying to destroy each side because their side is tired of being destroyed, if that makes sense. I don't know if it made a ton of sense, but, So, Josh, you're not Jewish, but did you get circumcised? I have a circumcised pecker. I do. And my dad claims I'm baptized as well. He's like, I've asked him before. I said, Dad, am I baptized? Goes, yeah, you're baptized. I'm like, okay. Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know if that gets me into heaven or gets me a discount at Applebee's or what, but.
It's one of the sacraments, I think is what it's called, but I don't think it gets you an Applebee's discount.
No, but I think it should. I think there should be. Like, oh, you're baptized? Hell, come on into Cracker Barrel. You get express seating. Cancel culture is eating their own. I think that's fair, Chiefs TX. I think that's a fair point.
This open letter from J.K. Rowling to cancel culture.
No, I didn't.
It's like, it's out of control.
Well, it does need to stop because, again, remember, every time you're pointing a finger and saying someone should be canceled, you better make sure nobody in your group has any skeletons or anything bad happens, because that same group that's being told they're terrible is going to come right back around and come after you.
And they always
it's a glass houses type thing.
They always find something that they can twist into something horrible.
You're not Jewish? That hair you got says otherwise. People do think I have very Jewish hair.
Yep.
But I'm not Jewish. I'm nothing really. I am no religion, but I do have very curly hair. I have beautiful hair that I've been told by my stylist Gabriel that women would love to have with the natural curls I have. So there you go. Steven Jackson is an idiot, though. He is. The thing is, though, he's allowed to be an idiot because there are certain people that are just allowed to be stupid, and you'll go, whatever. I told a Jewish Eagles fan an anti-Semitic joke yesterday, and he helped me fix it up because comedy cures racism. Oh, I'm a big believer in that too, Mills Lane. But the problem is we've gotten to a point now where you're not allowed to make jokes because everybody becomes offended by everything.
It's certainly not about race.
No, and I think that's bad for society. I think where we are right now is terrible for society. You can talk about police brutality, and we can talk about shootings, and we can talk about all the bad things that are going on out there. But just as bad as a lot of that is the internet and Twitter.
I'm all for the Twitch ban. Now, I'm not on Twitch, but as I said, I've said this before on this podcast, ban it all. I don't need it. I don't need your Twitter.
No, I think we'd all be better off if we did. I think if we all got away from social media, I think things would be a lot better.
Ban social media.
I think it'd make the world a better place. I think that people might be forced to actually converse with each other in person.
Did I say Twitch? I meant TikTok.
Well, Twitch will kick us out of here soon anyway. You guys can, by the way, feel free to drop in some bits if you like. We were off for like 5 days, so we're looking to make up the bits that we've lost in those days, if you like. Which white NBA player is more woke, Kyle Korver or Redick? It's interesting because I think Redick tries to pass himself off as blacker. He's got all the tattoos and everything, so I think he thinks he's more black. But like Korver only had like that one moment of wokedom, right? I would lean. I think Korver's had more outwardly woke statements, maybe. I think.
Now here's my question: since they're going to let the NBA players wear a message on their jersey,
yes,
when the season resumes,
yep.
If a white NBA player doesn't wear like a jersey that says equality on it, is that person a racist?
They're at least privileged.
Okay.
But look,
that would be the move. Someone should.
How many white players are there anyway, though?
Someone should just wear privileged as their jersey.
They should.
That's
somebody will. I wouldn't doubt that.
Then we'll know who the wokest white guy in the NBA is. Then we'll know.
That's true. Korver seems like the type to get BLM tat over his heart. No, maybe. No, I could see that actually. Let's see here. Your gas bill is going to be too high. That it is. And that's why we need bits to make up for our gas bill and our electric bill.
And the electric bill from having the air conditioner run constantly with the door open.
Not only that, it was that and the gas was left on for 4 days by the dopey cleaning lady. I at least need to make up for the money I paid the cleaning lady. So I need to make up for that $120 or whatever the hell it was.
I still wish I could warn people.
Let's see here. Someone needs a free Hong Kong jersey. Now, let's see if that happens.
Oh, that would be great. Good luck.
Let's see here. By the way, I was looking at sports radio ratings across the country. Like WIP is finally starting to take a hit without sports. Like they were fine like in May. I think it was like March, April, May. The June ratings came out and they're down in the 4s. And 97.5, by the way, is all the way down. It's near a 1, and that's 6+. That's not the in demo. And I'm sure WIP is still doing fine in demo. But somebody was telling me their in demo ratings on these stations. Missinelli is in like 6th place overall. The Cuz is in like 9th place in demo. And I don't know where Farzetta is, but he's being doubled by Angelo.
Oh, dear.
And that's with WIP going down. Like, this is the time of year they were hoping baseball would get them some numbers, obviously, with the time spent listening, and it's not. Like, you look in Boston, numbers have gone down on stations. Here in Houston, there's like no ratings in sports radio. We're finally seeing that, and it sucks. Well, it's good and bad. I'd like people to acknowledge that you need talented people. Like, this is a highly unlikely situation to ever happen again with the Rona. But you're seeing people who aren't interesting being exposed, basically. And, like, I get some people ripping me for making things too, they call it political on the show. I don't consider it to be political because I'm not voting for anybody. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Biden supporter. I don't give a shit about any of these guys. I consider it to be kind of like a social type of talk, but that's what's out there now. So people get angry with me and they say, why don't you talk about, why don't you talk about sports? Well, what sports? Go to ESPN.com right now. And I would guess that 4 of the top 6 stories have to do with either the Rona or social justice warriors or Deshaun Jackson or race. So that's what we're doing. So the reason I've shifted to this was just kind of a natural progression. But in reality, it's kind of it's a strategy. It's not that I don't believe what I'm saying, because I do, but think about this. And I tell this to people all the time. When I was in Philadelphia, I was trying to do funny shit. What happened in Philadelphia when I tried to do funny shit, Jilly?
Well, you tweeted and it didn't end well.
Yeah, and then I would get people bitching, "Oh, you don't talk about sports. You don't talk about sports." Then I get fired. Come to Houston, I say, I'm going to do some fun stuff. We're going to laugh. We're going to do jokes. We're going to have pranks. It's going to be beautiful. What happened to me in Houston?
That didn't work out so well.
Nope, got whacked, right? So what that's told me is that especially now, people aren't into humor. People aren't into laughing. So I'm trying to find what the things are that people are actually talking about. In reality, like I like talking about certain social things. In real life, I don't like to talk about all this shit all the time. Really, I would much rather be 2015 and we're laughing our asses off and we're playing drops and we're having a good time, right? Like I'd much rather that. But this is the trend of the time. You know, I mean, this is what everything is. Again, go to USA Today, right? Every story on there is either about the Rona or race in sports, or some team wants their owner kicked out. I mean, so, you know, and also like on the show on the 97.5 show, for being honest, if you and Jim were there, it would be a whole lot easier to be funny. But when I'm by myself, I have to be a little bit more like I'm trying to get a reaction from people and get people to call and, you know, have fun or react. So I find myself being a little bit more aggressive when I do it. It sounds a little more angry and less jovial and ha-ha, you know? I'm into humor. Hey, you know what? So am I. And, you know, and by the way, I don't think we're not funny. I think we do a lot of funny shit. It's just, it's a different vibe. But this is the world. The show is a product of the world at this point. It's like about survival, you know? Like, and now if someone called me today and said, come do the old shit you were doing on radio, I'd do that. But it's a matter of survival at this point. Philly's show would have survived with Bruno. It would not have. And by the way, it was never going to survive because Bruno quit. He didn't want to do it. But it would not have survived with Bruno either, because eventually, and again, you can't say that because he was inevitably always going to leave. He was never going to stay.
And Andy would have gotten fired anyway, and you still would have checked out.
Yes. Because if Andy would, again, that was the biggest factor. It wasn't Bruno leaving. And listen, I'm not trying to demean Bruno. He's wonderful. But Bruno leaving wasn't what killed the show. It was Andy getting fired that killed the show. 2017 was a good time, and those shows were amazing. But times are different. You have to talk about shit honestly, or nothing will ever improve. And I agree with that. You know, I mean, I try to tell that to people is like the problem I have is people think I'm creating like some character here, and like I'm just making shit up, and I don't listen to you anymore because why weren't you this way a couple years ago? Because a couple of years ago, these weren't the topics, right? A couple of years ago, the Astros are in the middle of 2017. They're in the middle of a World Series run. This shit doesn't matter. Well, this is the only thing happening right now. That's why. Speaking of that, Kanye and his run for president, which is a farce, obviously. Do you have some of the quotes from Kanye?
Oh, there's so
many.
many.
There's a big story a big interview. Kanye knows he's not going to be president, and Kanye doesn't want to be president.
I don't know. I think he does.
He doesn't. He does. It's a total work. It is a total work.
I sent you this article because you're in the tub for an hour and you don't even read it.
Well, listen, he can say all he wants because he has to convince people that he is, in fact, wanting to be president. He does not want to be president. And I think it's a total work when you see him say, well, I'm throwing away the red hat and I'm against Trump. He's lying. It's all, if anything, it's a work to try to get people over to Trump. But he does not want to be president. He's not truly running for president. And by the way, like people say, oh, this could hurt Trump. Of course it can't hurt Trump, because no one that would vote for Trump is just going to change and go, I'm going to go vote for a Looney Tunes rapper. Okay, that's not going to happen. But maybe in Kanye's mind, he's going to pull some black people over to Trump.
He says he's okay with siphoning off black votes from the Democratic nominee, thus helping Trump. He says, I'm not denying it. I just told you to say that the black vote is Democratic is a form of racism and white supremacy.
Okay, so he's basically telling you that he thinks Biden and the Democrats are a clown.
Oh, yeah, he hates
So he's
Biden.
saying if he's taking votes and it helps, he doesn't win, but Trump wins, he views that as a victory.
But he says, I am taking the red hat off with this interview. I guess he didn't like that he was hiding in the bunker during the riot.
Okay, and again, that's all part, we're talking about works, right? One of the greatest angles in the history of wrestling, the anniversary was yesterday, and it was the Bash at the Beach where Hogan leg drops Randy Savage, and he's the third guy, right? That's one of those big moments. This is a work. It is a clear work. Like saying, I'm taking off the red hat, it's all for show. Let's see, someone asked, did Trump want to be president? I truly don't think he did. And I think Stern said that, and I actually agree with that. I don't know that he actually wanted to be president. I could argue he wanted to win because he doesn't want to lose. But I don't think at any point Trump actually wanted to be president or thought he would be president, and then he became president. But I don't believe he truly set out to win. I believe he set out to put on a show, and then he ended up winning.
Well, similarly to what you've said, some of your conservative friends have said that Kanye was kind of backing Trump for the long run, and then recently he'd be watching things, and he says, it starts to look like one big mess to me. I don't like that I caught wind that he hid in the bunker. Other than that, he won't say much more against Trump, says this article.
Because he's a Trump guy. It's all a sham.
He's much less shy about criticizing Biden, which certainly won't tamp down the idea that the birthday party, that's what his party is, the birthday party, is a ruse to help re-elect Trump. He says, I'm not saying Trump's in my way. He may be a part of my way. And Joe Biden, like, come on, man, please. You know, Obama, special. Trump, special. We say Kanye West is special. America needs special people that lead. Bill Clinton, special. Joe Biden's not special.
Well, I think he's accurate there. I agree with that.
Oh, boy.
I get the vibe Melania can't wait to get out. I think I'd agree with that, too. She's so hot, though. I think she's getting hotter as she gets older. She's just really, really, I mean, she's a model, so no shit. Like, it's not breaking news. But damn, she's sexy. That's just a good-looking woman.
They also asked Kanye about, what made him a Trump supporter.
Yep.
And he says, Trump is the closest president we've had in years to allowing God to still be a part of the conversation.
I think you're also a clown if you think that Trump gives two shits about God or anything. He's just playing politician. That dude didn't give a shit about religion at all.
Kanye adds that one of the main reasons I wore the red MAGA hat was as a protest to the segregation of votes in the black community. Also, other than the fact that I like Trump hotels and the saxophones in the lobby.
Well, he's a loon. It's fine that he's a loon, but he's a loon.
The birthday party, man. It's coming.
Let's see. Trump can't wait to be president. Trump can't wait to not be president, but there's no way his ego would let him drop out and lose to Biden. And I agree with that. And I also agree that he didn't want to be president. Like, he didn't want to be president for being president, but he didn't want to lose to Hillary. It's one of those things like, to win, you have to be president. But I don't know that he truly wanted to. The dude's got money. He's fine. He's got Mar-a-Lago. He's got a hot-ass wife. He's got hot-ass side pieces. He didn't want to be president. He got saddled with it. Well, he won, and now he's stuck. And now I totally agree that he can't let himself lose to Biden.
Also, this is the first time that Kanye has ever registered to vote. He never did it before. So he's now registered to vote in Wyoming. He explains why he never registered to vote, saying the reason why this is the first time I registered is because I was scared. I was told that if I voted on Trump, my music career would be over. I was threatened into being in one party. I was threatened as a celebrity into being in one party. I was threatened as a black man into the Democratic Party, and that's what the Democrats are doing, emotionally to my people, threatening them to the point where this white man can tell a black man, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
And that's true as well. That's fair. Dude, I had a friend of mine send me a text today because I was talking about how like black dudes are shunned if they become Republicans, and he was just angered. And he was saying that, like, don't say this on the air, but basically any black dude that's Republican is a sellout. Like, you made my point, but okay. Let's see here. Ivanka is hot. Ivanka's super hot. You want to see sexy in a mask? We talk about mask sexy, about how, like, Lena Hidalgo is mask sexy. Ivanka Trump's sexy anyway. But in a mask, Ivanka Trump is even sexier. She's got wonderful eyes, this Ivanka Trump, and other things. She is just super sexy. Both, I can see she's hot. Melania's hot. Ivana had her moments in her prime as well. I'm telling you, man, the man, this Trump has gotten him some ass. Not that, he's gotten his daughter's ass, although that was they thought he was creepy with his daughter. But
Kanye also had coronavirus. So that's why he wasn't able to get on the ballot in certain states. So he's going to try to...
Is it wrong of me to assume that basically anything he says is bullshit?
He's going to try to use that as a way to get around it. And then also he envisions a White House organizational model based on Wakanda.
Oh, what was that again?
His envision for the White House organizational model that he would put into place is based on Wakanda in Black Panther.
Gotcha.
He also is suspicious of coronavirus vaccines, terming vaccines, quote, the mark of the beast.
But he said he had the Rona.
Yes. I mean, this article is just fascinating. Like, it's
Yeah,
loony
but
as all hell.
at what point is Kanye no longer fascinating and he's just a loon? Like there is a point where like Charlie Sheen, like there was a stretch 2010, 11
Yep.
where it was that he was fascinating and he lost his gig on 2.5 Men and he was Tiger Blood and Adonis DNA.
But I think Kanye is just so much more well-spoken. Like, when he talks, you're like,
No, he just
fascinating.
Okay, it's because he talks fast.
Like,
That's something
you're like,
I learned
okay.
a long time ago. Like my dad used to say that. He's like, you don't have to always be funny or right, but just say something, say something fast, and like people don't have
Yeah.
time to think about it. He just talks really fast.
listen, I'm not saying he's not loony here, but I'm just saying it's fascinating that he takes the time to come up with these answers. Like, they're not just like Tiger Blood. Like, these are like thought-out answers, which are ridiculous. His running mate, by the way, is Michelle Tidball, who's an obscure preacher from Wyoming. Why the birthday party? Quote, because when we win, it's everybody's birthday.
All right, but to go back to Kanye and Charlie Sheen, right?
That is Kanye.
So I know that, but there was a point where Charlie Sheen with his hijinks, we just kind of laugh our asses off. Then it kind of got to a point where it was like, all right, now what? Sometimes like Lenny gets that way sometimes too. Like I liked Lenny a lot. There are times though where it's kind of like now the novelty's kind of worn off on it, right? And I think the same thing has kind of happened to Kanye. Like for a while it was kind of wacky and it was different. Now he just seems kind of like a lunatic.
I think he's always seemed like a lunatic.
Yes, but it's not charming anymore. It's gotten to the point where the lunacy is now just kind of it's been passed by. Like it's not fun anymore. It's not funny anymore. It's just kind of like, okay, when you get to the point where you expect it, like I've never listened to Alex Jones, right? I've heard some of his rants, but I've never like actively listened to Alex Jones. I imagine there was a point when you would listen to Alex Jones that you would like someone would go like, wow, this guy, that's kind of awesome that he's out there, And then eventually it's kind of like, okay, same shit, different day. It's the same thing with like Coast to Coast AM. I used to love Coast to Coast AM. But you can only hear so many of the same alien stories and Loch Ness Monster stories where you're just kind of like, all right, now what? And Kanye, and I like Kanye, and I used to have a Kanye for President shirt before it was cool.
Actually, that would be very topical
I wish I
right
would have
now.
got rid of it now. But Kanye, it's now gotten to the point where it's kind of like, okay, now what?
But I think what he does well is that he takes a break from it. Like, you don't hear from him for a couple months, and then you hear a lot from him. Then you don't hear from him a while. Then he comes back with something new like, all right, I was going to run for president in 2024, but the birthday party starts now, 2020. Here we go.
Yeah.
Like, I'll read this stuff. Like, I just find it fascinating. I mean, of course I know he's not going to win. I'm not stupid.
But I am interested to see how many people like Kanye would get a vote. Now, he's not on the ballot in like 6 or 7 states.
Well,
he's not on any ballots yet, but he can't be on the ballot in 6 or 7
No,
states.
he's working on that. He's got the loophole because he had the Rona.
So it's the Rona loophole is what we call it?
Because he wasn't able to do the things that he had to do to get on those ballots in the 6 states because he was sick.
And again, who would I don't believe that 100% that he had Rona. Like, that's the problem. I don't buy it. Like, it just seems like something he would make up. Now, the greatest audio ever was Kanye on the Sway in the Morning show. That's my favorite piece of audio ever, where he just yells about, like, Ralph Lauren and clothing lines. And I find him fascinating, but not as fascinating anymore. Kanye will be like Trump. Talk about being president so much and eventually getting tired of saying than actually doing it. Maybe he will, Daniel Batchelor. Maybe he will. I don't know.
Other priorities that he would like to address in his campaign, and if he, becomes president, are to clean up the chemicals in our deodorant and our toothpaste. There are chemicals that affect our ability to be of service to God.
So let me get this. So the chemicals, what do you mean they keep us from being of service? Like, he's a lunatic.
Yes.
I know that he's a lunatic, but like, this is the kind of shit, like Kanye says the kind of shit that if a white guy with a radio show said it, he would be banned from YouTube and Twitch. Like, Kanye would be banned from Twitch. Kanye would be canceled from YouTube. They'd go, listen, dude, you're way too fucking wacky. You're out of here.
On his campaign slogan, he says, well, my second album is called Late Registration. I got a rap. The other thing is my campaign is Kanye West. Yes. Not yep. Not yeah. Yes.
Kanye, or is it Kanyes? Is that what it is?
Kanye West, yes.
Oh.
When I'm president, let's also have some fun. Let's get past all the racism conversation. Let's empower people with 40 acres and a mule. Let's give some land. That's the plan.
Well, I don't know that I agree with, just giving 40 acres and a mule, but okay.
Let's have some
Blocked
fun.
my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
I'd vote for him.
Imagine
Screw it.
being
I don't
this,
care about politics. They're all lunatics anyway.
Imagine being this Randall Lane who did the interview for Forbes and having to like transcribe all this.
Yeah. Kanye is a fluoride truther. He is. Let me see. Hold on. I know we're supposed to bring an end to the party, but I do want to listen to a little bit of Kanye and his lunacy on here with Sway. See if there's a short version of it. Let me see here. Hold on. Because Sway in the Morning with Kanye was just the best interview. Anyway, it didn't make any sense. Like, here was there one. This is the 3-minute one. This is just the 3-minute version of him flipping out on Sway in the Morning.
He does that to
I
everybody.
know, but this was my favorite one of all of them.
Parker. I'm going to put Mark Parker all on that Summer Jam screen. And by the way, Mark Parker, yes, I will still accept an investment in Donda. I got some more ideas that don't involve shoes. But if you guys are investing in the art.
But this is like right around the time he lost his mind. This is right around like The Throne, right? Watch The Throne, like with he and Jay-Z.
Was it that long ago?
This is in 2013. We still lived here the first time. So this has been around a while. And this was like when he lost. This is kind of when he first lost his mind.
Y'all want to invest in this school in Brazil? Y'all want to go to Africa? I'm standing up and I'm telling you, I am Warhol. I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation. I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google. Now, who's going to be the Medici family and stand up and let me create more? Or do you want to marginalize me till I'm out of my moment?
Or why don't you empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself?
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Kanye.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what
You
more
ain't
than
got.
me? Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the
Kanye,
answers.
relax.
You ain't got
But I'll give him this though. Sway is not wrong because you look at a lot of the powerful people are people who empowered themselves. Joe Rogan built an awesome brand, right? And he just got paid $100 million. Clay Travis and the guys at Outkick, they get Jason Whitlock to join. Their brand is building their thing. And if he ever gets fired from Fox, he's got his own brand with a huge audience. That's what people need to do. Sway is actually right. Like Kanye's over here begging Ralph Lauren and people to bail him out. Dude, Sway ain't wrong in this. I'm going back. I haven't listened to this in forever.
I know,
but
now
it's
you're
very,
like really
I'm like,
hyped about this
Sway.
again.
Like, you know what, Sway, I agree with you on this.
Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the
Kanye,
answers.
relax.
You ain't got the
Bro,
answers.
I'm asking you.
You
a
ain't been doing the
question.
education.
Bro.
You ain't been doing the education.
Kanye, calm down.
You don't have the answers though.
Calm down.
Because you trying to give me advice about something. You ain't got the answer. You ain't spent $13 million of your own money
You're
trying to
absolutely
empower
right.
yourself.
Yes, but I spent hundreds of thousands and putting out clothing lines at a smaller degree. All I'm asking you,
And it ain't no Ralph though. It ain't Ralph level.
Let me ask you this. I'm asking
What's the
you,
name of your clothing line? We don't know.
Kanye,
you know what I'm saying?
Because I lost money, but that's not
Exactly, and I can lose money on a higher level too.
And that's what
Don't
I'm
think
asking
just
you.
because don't think because I got
Kanye,
the most or the least
let
money.
Let me finish my question, dog.
Man,
But
man.
let me hear the
You
question,
don't have
man.
the answers.
I'm asking you for the answer. It's a question. Why is it that you can't? You have money.
I just
you have
told you
investors.
I lost the money because I did not have the knowledge
Okay,
of how
so
to
you
do
don't
it the
have
right
money.
way.
So you don't have the money to do it. That's your answer. You ain't got to turn up, man. This ain't no fucking show, man.
No,
I'm
but-
talking to you as a homie.
No, it ain't no homie, man,
Man,
because the thing is, the bottom line is,
Man, all
everybody,
I'm saying, you ain't got to turn up like you ain't got to. No, hold up. You
wait,
disrespect.
ain't
hold
no,
up.
ain't no, ain't no.
And
hold
think
up.
about this though. Kanye just teamed up with The Gap.
Yep.
Or is it Old Navy?
The Gap. That's where I used to work.
He teamed up with The Gap.
Listen, bro.
Ain't no hold up.
It ain't got to be no hold up. I'm asking you
Ain't
a
no
question.
hold up.
I'm asking you a
Ain't
question.
no hold up.
What do you mean it ain't no hold up, man? We here talking as civilized people. I'm trying to understand your world because when I go to your concert, I'm curious about what you're saying. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you the questions.
Well, I'm gonna explain to you what it
Okay,
is.
but you ain't got to turn up on me man to man, dog. Fuck these mics. We could turn all this shit off. You ain't got to do this. It's cool. I love you, bro. But you ain't got to turn up. Don't try to embarrass us.
I'm not trying to embarrass y'all. What I'm trying to say to y'all is this industry of what I'm trying to get into, ain't nobody never broke down. Ain't nobody broke down. We all slaves. So I ain't trying to disrespect you on your show. We all slaves
It
or
ain't
something.
about my show, yay.
I ain't trying to disrespect you, period. Let me
Okay.
talk if you're going to have me talk. We all slaves. We all slaves. And y'all ain't experienced nothing right here but a moment from a movie out of glory. Back in the days, the slaves had enough money they could buy their own freedom. We all say we slaves to Nike, we slaves to Benz, we slaves to public perception, we slaves to not looking, what somebody gonna say after the interview. Why you let Kanye do that? You should. Well, we gotta sign that contract, Mark Parker.
I enjoy Kanye. Anyway, so then we got to build our own brand, is what we're doing here. We ain't get to his point though, and I see the thing is, I would listen to that and I would say that I agree with both sides, right? On one hand, I would say, yeah, go make your own thing, and I agree with that, right? But it's easier said than done. Like, and even guys like Joe Rogan who built their own thing. Joe Rogan had to use YouTube, which is a platform, to do it. Then he gets paid $100 million by whatchamacallit to join them. And that makes a ton of sense. So I agree with you. I was sitting here debating this thing from 7 years ago. But like, for instance, right? We've got a good thing here. And maybe in some glorious way it could build into this giant thing. But look at it this way. So like look at Clay Travis as an example, right? Clay Travis has worked on Fox. He's worked on ESPN. He's currently on Fox. He's got Outkick.com right now, right? Outkick.com would not have the reach it has if not for the fact that he is on Fox and Jason Whitlock was on Fox. They'd have an audience because he built an audience from doing radio in Nashville to being, writing books and being a writer. Like, he built that. But like Dan Le Batard, I think, says it very well. Like, Cowherd left and went to Fox, and that's all well and good. But being at ESPN made Le Batard. It made Colin Cowherd. We're doing a good thing. I have an audience on here because I was on WIP and I was on stations in Houston, etc. Our thing could blow up. Like, we can make this into a very good thing that makes money and be successful, right? But this thing could blow up if somehow, like, Barstool was like, join our world, or Outkick was like, join our world. Then we would blow up. Like, I'm not stupid enough to not think that people need bigger brands to help blow them up. I mean, like, if this show were somehow on Outkick, it'd be gigantic. Like, it'd be huge for us. And then eventually it would happen, if that were to happen, if somehow Outkick or Barstool or even like a big radio station, whatever, if we became part of one of these worlds, it would blow this thing up even bigger. Like, that makes sense. So, and that's kind of Yee's point, I guess, about, you need to be in with Ralph Lauren and these kind of guys that already have the reach to help your thing. And then, but you got it. You get what I'm saying, right? You get what I'm saying? Am I making sense to people? Hope I'm making sense to you guys. But anyway, so I guess we'll get out of here because gotta go make dinner. What are you making for dinner tonight? What is it?
Some sort of a shrimp pasta.
Well, I'm looking forward to some sort of shrimp pasta. That'll be good. Then we'll take Luther for a stroll. He's such a handsome boy.
We gotta remember to put his little paw pad stuff on though, because his paw pads are just getting burnt up here. I know it's hot in Philly, but it's not Texas hot.
Yep. What are your thoughts on SiriusXM buying Stitcher? I mean, isn't there a bigger deal in the works where at some point iHeart and everybody is going to be with Sirius? Isn't that the big thing, right? That's a big thing. That's one of the rumors of something that's going to happen. I don't know, man. Radio stuff is in trouble. Hopefully we can get in there and make a couple of bucks doing it before it dies.
Yeah.
That would be the goal there. Casio's thing is still on the table, though. I haven't heard from Joe Kraus with an offer yet, but that's possible. That's like the nearest thing we have to an opportunity right now.
I don't even know if we could afford to do it.
I don't know that we can either.
Yeah.
Because like they would give us a deal, and then I'd have to pay my agent. Then we'd have to pay to move.
Yep.
Then we'd have to pay for insurance.
And a house.
Like I'd end up it'd pay me like $7,000 a year after all that. I don't know that it'd be worth moving. So we'll have to see. We'll see what Joe Kraus has to offer. My agent is still convinced. There's like I'm telling you. When we find one of these big jobs and we do it, we're going to laugh at everybody. I said, okay, Heather, if you say so. I appreciate your support.
My guess is she's probably not loving the idea of this one.
Probably not. But I mean, if it's the
she's
right.
Like, I didn't sign you to make, $700.
No, but I mean, hell, she might end up making more than me on the whole deal if we do that one.
Because we're going to start out in the hole.
Yep. So she might come out of it on top, and we're just sitting there like, all righty. No one cares about satellite radio. Big picture, you're not wrong. Nobody, like, satellite radio dismissed me long ago. Like, people tell me, go work at XM, you can say whatever you want. Biggest myth ever. That's a complete myth. All these stations still have program directors that control the content on them. It's just like radio, except if you accidentally say shit, you're not going to get, kicked off the radio for saying shit. But for the most part, XM is kind of a wasteland anyway. It's just something I wouldn't be that interested in anyway. Like, I'd like to be on like a powerful radio station one more time. Really, just as an FU to the people that have dismissed me. That's why I want to do it. Just to come back, be big again, while still building the podcast, you know?
Right.
That would be my goal. I wouldn't abandon the podcast because it keeps growing and it's awesome and I enjoy it. And who knows, we might be able to join a big website or podcast group at some point and blow this thing up big. But it's just kind of I just want to be able to say F you to a lot of people. All these people that have written me off and these websites that ignore me now, you know? Like, somebody was asking about Barrett Sports Media the other day. Barrett Sports Media. Jason Barrett used to contact me all the time when there were jobs, and I think he might have been in St. Louis at one point and contacted me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like I talked to all these guys. And then now I'm just kind of like a cast off. Might be because I ripped them a lot, but like I'm kind of viewed as a cast off now from all these people. I just want to be able to shove it right back in everybody's face at some point. And then when everybody's crawling back to me going, boy, man, we love you, man. So you're going to be like, F you. That's my ambition in life. I have high hopes. Anyway, all right, let's say goodbye to the podcast audience. All right, podcast audience, goodbye. Let's see. You said you had a discussion about someone being interested in the podcast. Any news on that? No, there's no news on that yet.
You always tell people all this information, and then they always ask, and you're like, not yet, not yet. You need to just keep some things to ourselves.
Well, that was something I said in passing. I didn't really think about that.
You know what Just Nation gloms onto that.
I know, I get it. Chris Jericho Podcast Network should pick you up. I didn't know that Jericho had a podcast network. I knew he had a podcast. I didn't know that he had his own network of podcasts. Boy, my hair is wild today. All right, so we'll just talk to people here for a few minutes as I upload the podcast. Let's see. We will hit publish. All right, what should we title this podcast today, Jissers? What should we do with this one? If you guys have money issues, you should grab that tape from your dad. Well, I don't know that anybody would want to see that.
I don't think.
They're like, wait a minute, I'm going to buy. Yeah, some website's going to buy a couple of dopey radio people's.
I don't think we're going to make the money that we would need from that.
No. All right, what should I title this today? Just what was the big thing we talked about?
City Council, Kanye.
I'll put
Deshaun Jackson
Kanye
again
for president. That's what we'll call that one. All right, let's see here. Why don't we open the show with?
City Council.
Yes. Let's see here. I'm still baffled by the lack of response from I'm not really baffled, but the lack of response from people on this Deshaun thing. Let's see here. We played classic City Council audio. Did we ever get into Joey Gallo and like the double Rona tests?
No.
Oh, boy, we'll have to talk about that tomorrow. The dude's taken 4 Rona tests, right? And 2 of them have been positive and 2 have been negative.
Well, that's one of the conspiracies, as they say, they're setting out these tests and they already got the positive on them.
I kind of buy it. Let's see.
One of the many conspiracies.
Let's see here. Alrighty. Let's see. Your guys are sick, LOL. What guys are those? Posting. You should title it Deshaun Jackson Hates Jewish People, but I don't know that he does. I don't think he does. They could even have Josh's dad in the background looking on disapproving. Well, that would be a...
Again, no one's going to buy that. I'm not above selling a sex tape. Hear me out. I mean, it worked for Kim. It worked for,
Yes.
Paris, whatever.
But they also weren't banging me. That's not going to get you anywhere. Anyway, he must be using Lenny's Rona test kit. He might be. He might be. I'm curious. I mean, maybe we need to get Lenny on the show soon to talk about his test kits and see how
Yeah.